that was when we were waiting in the TARDIS in our little box, waiting for action. Fraser and I used to debag Pat. So this was on rehearsal, obviously, not on recording. So every single rehearsal, dress rehearsal, we would pull his trousers down and push him out.
So without further ado, let's reverse the polarity of the neutron flow and bring them all in. Our first guest, she is an actress whose credits include Crossroads, Freewheelers, and The Many Lives of Patrick. Today, she joins us to discuss the role of two companions she has portrayed. Zoe, companion to Patrick Troughton's second Doctor, and Jenny, companion to Trevor Martin's alternate fourth Doctor from the original stage production, Doctor Who and the Daleks in the Seven Keys to Doomsday. Please welcome Wendy Padbury.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us here today.
You're more than welcome.
Oh, absolutely. And like I said before, I mean, first of all, a tremendous work that you did during the time with Troughton, and that remains very dear to my heart. The episodes that still exist, of course, some of them are lost to the vortices, but the recreations are slowly coming out, and they are quite a marvel. I did want to take this moment to talk a little bit about Seven Keys to Doomsday. The very first time that they did Doctor Who on a live stage, and they brought you in to play the character of Jenny and not Zoe, a different companion. What was that experience like?
It was very interesting. I mean, obviously completely different. Jenny was completely different to Zoe. And also it was on the stage. So the whole feel of the thing was completely different. It was a really good story, a really, really good story. The only problem was it was so incredibly technical and actually a bit before its time that it made it really difficult to, we were all always very conscious that every sentence and every word we said was some sort of technical cue for a lighting thing or a something to drop down, we had screens at the back, which I don't think anybody had done before. And matching all that up and managing all that was really complex. So it was a really technical show, but a very successful show. Unfortunately, we hit the West End at the time of the IRA bombings, and so our fell off. Why would anyone bring their children to central London, at that period of time? There was talk about we were going to go on the road with it, but the sets were too big. They didn't fit into most regional theatres. So
the Daleks alone are incredibly cumbersome. I have a friend that has one, and
well, we had things much bigger than Daleks.
Oh yeah, I know. I've seen the pictures. Trust me.
Yeah, I mean, it was quite something. It was quite something. But it was brilliant to work with Trevor Martin, who was an incredible doctor. Actually, I always thought maybe he should have been a doctor on TV. I thought he was just brilliant. So it was a really, really interesting show.
Absolutely. And of course, it was very nice that Trevor got to do the audio reenactment of it. And your character, Jenny, was replaced by another fine actress who happens to be your daughter.
I know. I mean, that's not fair, is it? No, and also, she didn't tell me. I didn't know about it until I was at a convention and somebody said to me, "What was it like to listen to your daughter doing playing Jenny in Seven?" And I said, "Sorry, pardon, what? I didn't know she had." And I really didn't know she had.
Really?
And then I listened to and that person who asked me the question came back later in the day and gave me a CD to listen to it. So I listened to it on the way home in the car, and I thought, no, they've made a mistake. This is definitely me. This is me. They must have recorded this. This was at the very beginning. They must have recorded this when we were doing it, because that sounds like me. And it took me quite a few minutes to realize actually it wasn't me, it was Charlie. Yeah. So no, it was really good and lovely to hear. Yeah.
She didn't even send it to you or call you up that she was done. It's like, wow.
No, none of that.
That's showbiz.
We don't talk much about work and things, so it was one of those things.
No, absolutely fair. And of course, you've come back to Big Finish as the character of Zoe as well.
Right.
And we'll talk about some Big Finish when we bring our rest of our guests. Our next guest, actually, she is an actress whose work includes Stella Bang and the Library Suicides, whose title in its original Welsh I will not dare to pronounce. But today she joins us to discuss the role of Victorian adventuress Jenny Flint. Please welcome Catrin Stewart.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
So good. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's so wonderful. How are things in your corner of the world?
Yeah, good. I'm visiting my cousin at the moment in Devon, which is in southern England, and it's very beautiful here. So I feel very lucky because we don't know, there'll probably be another lockdown soon. So making the most of my freedom.
Do so as long as you're staying safe. We want you to come back in good spirits and in good health.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Our next guest, she is an actress whose credits include The Biz, Blackadder, and Star Trek Continues. Today, she's here to talk about the role of Perpigillium Brown, aka Peri, also known as the American companion to the 5th and 6th Doctors, and the beloved of the bellicose King Myrkanos. Please welcome Nicola Bryant.
Hello.
Hi. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Oh, it is absolutely such a pleasure. And how are you doing in your corner of the world?
Very good, thank you. Yeah, very good.
Absolutely. And finally, he is an actor whose body of work includes The Brothers, War and Peace, and Blake 7. For most, he is the 6th Doctor. For some, he is the Doctor. Please welcome back to the GalaxyCon virtual stage, Mr. Colin Baker.
Yeah. Hello. I thought I'd remind you of what I used to be like before I became what I am like. Are you ready?
Yes.
Big reveal. Are you sure? That's what happens when 4 decades pass. What a delight for you all.
Colin, always a pleasure to have you here. How are you doing, sir?
Me, I'm fine. I'm here in what was sunny Buckinghamshire until a couple of weeks ago, and is a couple of days ago, and is now gloomy, freezing.
Yeah.
It's cold and there's a gale blowing. But that's the joy of England. All the seasons within a week, you can get summer, spring, winter, autumn, and others that haven't been invented yet.
I'm in Florida. We have summer, and 2 weeks of autumn.
Yeah, how boring for you.
Yes, indeed. Well, once again, thank you all for joining us here at the GalaxyCon virtual stage. We definitely look forward to when the world gets a little bit back to normal and we can bring you back on our physical stages and get you all back in front of your fans. And in the meantime, we are here in this online forum, and thank you for joining us. While our team is pulling questions from the audience, I would like to I'd like to throw this out. You've all done work for Big Finish, so I would like to know, what was it like when you were first offered the opportunity to revisit these characters that you played in live action, and the opportunity without makeup or, in Colin's case, certainly costume constraints?
Well, if you're asking me first,
go right ahead, sir.
The costume was never a problem for me.
Really?
Because I was on the inside looking out. It was you poor people had to endure it. Explosion.
I liked it.
I love that costume.
Did you?
Yeah.
It kept you warm, didn't it, Nicola? Yes. We were always filming in the freezing cold, and open my costume, in pop Nicola, close it again. Those are the worst things in life.
So, Colin, what was it like then when you got that offer to come in and do Big Finish?
Well, it was a delight. Fortunately, I knew most of the people involved, and I knew them to be A, very good Doctor Who fans, and B, good writers and directors. And so Peter and Sylvester and I were the original 3 who started off. And it was like putting on a warm overcoat you haven't worn for a few years. You snuggle back into it very quickly. And it was a joy. It was an absolute joy. And in my case in particular, because old Sixie, as I refer to my doctor, never really completed the journey that we had in mind when we started out. And it gave him, i.e. me, the opportunity to do that. And I will owe Big Finish a huge debt, not only for supporting me through, especially in COVID. It's the only employer out there. And you, COVID. So it's Big Finish and GalaxyCon. Please, you're my friends forever. And the standard of the scripts was right from the very beginning was, well, there's not one script Big Finish has produced which has not been better than the majority of the ones we did on screen. I don't know if Nicola will agree with me, but
scripts have been amazing.
And of course, on audio, the horrible things are even more horrible. You say, what a beautiful face. We all have our own picture of that face, so it works for everyone. Whereas on television, if you say, oh, she's very good looking, and half the audience is going, well, she's not all that, is she? On audio, it doesn't happen. And I still look the same. On audio, I still look like that on audio. So Big Finish, bless them. I've done another one this week. I've done hundreds now. I love it.
You have. It's a delight. You have kept me company on many a long drive. Actually, you all have, really. So thank you for that.
It was you in that car.
We did one together, didn't we, Paul?
What?
We did one together, a Big Finish.
We did. Yeah. Too long ago, though. Far too long ago.
Far too long. Yeah. That got very mixed reviews from the fans as to why they would put Zoe with your doctor. It was quite controversial in the end.
I think now, given decades of Big Finish, and given the fact that the fourth Doctor suddenly appears as a pensioned off librarian on Gallifrey, I think anything could happen. So,
yeah, absolutely.
I still know what that was about.
I love doing it because we were trying to. The first ones I did were Zoe trying to remember what had been wiped from her memory when she left, and that was really interesting. Actually, I was really concerned because, well, obviously I don't sound like I sounded in Doctor Who. I was well, A, I was very young, and B, I was very squeaky, and I was very high pitched. And I can't do that anymore, so I was a bit nervous. But being able to play Zoe at an age was really, really interesting. So I've loved doing them, and I haven't been able to get over from France here to do any since. I've got some to do, but I can't get over there to do them. So I really always look forward to them.
Well, get on your do it. I don't go to Big Finish anymore. I sit at home with my home studio. Get yourself a microphone.
Home studio. I mean, you're posh. You're really posh. You just have home studios and things. I've got a front room with a dog in it.
I bought a microphone, and that's my home studio.
Yeah, they were amazing. They sent us the microphone during lockdown to record.
Oh, really?
To say I've got my dog too.
Oh.
Oh. Well.
Yeah, just like Colin was saying, it was brilliant through lockdown. They were enjoying us.
Oh, hang on. Are we showing off dogs all of a sudden?
We are now. Yes.
This is a very strange dog, but okay.
It's a great looking cat.
Thank you. She's a diva, and she knows it.
Oh, cute. Oh, adorable.
Oh, it suits you, that dog.
I have a very poorly diabetic dog.
Oh.
Yes. Who has to have stuck in her twice a day.
Oh, dear.
So
the other one's not here, but this is the rescue one.
Oh, what's the name?
Marnie.
So Nicola, what was it like for you to come back in Big Finish and revisit the American accent?
It was fine. Yes. The difficulty is mostly going into British stores and people going, "Where are you from?" Because the American R is pretty much there most of the time now.
Yeah.
So I have to work really hard to be British. It's harder to do that. It's been so long. No, it was great. And exactly as Colin describes it, he says a nice warm overcoat. I just go a comfy pair of slippers. You know, you just slip into the role, and you don't have to be worried about, oh, now what's the background of my character? What do I need to research? You know everything about your character. You know about the journey. And as with Colin, we got to expand, and that was exciting. That was very exciting.
Indeed, it's been interesting to see how the directions they've taken the character since her departure from the show, which I always thought, yeah, it's kind of nice. I think in one of the novels, your character and Brian Blessed's character, he became a professional wrestler on Earth, and you were his valet or something.
Yeah, I didn't
maybe like that.
Funny enough.
Yeah, I thought that was like, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, whatever floats your boat. That's what's so great about Doctor Who, isn't it?
Yeah.
The variety and the ideas and all the different plots. There's got to be one that you're going, yeah, that's really me, and I really love that one. So I like the diversity that we can find in Doctor Who.
Absolutely. And again, you're the Big Finish version, though. I think had a much better exodus of the character and transition and set her back up. Indeed. Catrin, you are kind of the new one of the extended Doctor Who family in this group. You had a mildly fast turnover from the TV to when did you get approached to, hey, do you want to keep going?
Yeah, well, we were very loved by the fans, which was lovely on the telly, and lots of people were talking about having our own spin-off. So Big Finish got in there, which I think is a great idea. So yeah, we've got the Paternoster Gang spin-off series. I think we've done 3 series now. We recorded, I think, 1 or 2 episodes during lockdown, which was great. As I said, they sent us a mic and we could all see each other over Zoom. It wasn't the same as being in the studio, but yeah, it's just great to revisit the characters and explore so much more of their relationship and their world through this Big Finish series, and just be with Dan and Neve again, who play Strax and Vastra, but also they just get brilliant actors in to come and play the other roles. And yeah, you don't have to learn your lines, you don't have to do any research. They do great lunches, as everyone says.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really like doing audio work. And yeah, I still don't know whether I get Jenny's voice. It takes a while to get back into the character's voice because we played it on telly so long ago. So I think she probably sounds a bit different now. But yeah, and they really involve us in storylines and things. So it's really great.
Absolutely. It's been, well, like I said, it has been a delight to see you all on the telly, and it's been a delight to continue to hear you all in my car. So once again, I thank you for that. And I thank you for your contributions to this show, which has been very near and dear to my heart for such a long time. And thank you all again. And that's a credit to all of you as actors as well for carrying these characters and continuing to carry these characters. And our producers let me know that we are good at audience questions. So I will go ahead and ask Jude, our awesome producer, roll our first one, which comes from our site 87. Who or what is your favorite villain of the franchise? And Wendy, would you like to start us off?
Oh, that's a tough one. Are we talking my era, or I can only really talk about my era, really? Although
any era you like.
Yes.
What were what did Matt Smith story? Was the Angels a Matt Smith story?
The Weeping Angels, the statues?
Weeping Angels.
Yeah.
I thought they were utterly terrifying. I really did. In my era, I think Ice Warriors sent a shiver down my spine. I thought they were pretty creepy. Yeah, and always a Cyberman is a,
Oh yeah, definitely. And
you don't want to read one of those on a dark night ever.
You had several varieties of them during that 10 years. Absolutely.
Some a lot better than others, I must admit. Some costumes less baggy than others,
Absolutely fair. Absolutely fair. Catrin, how about you?
Did you say the Whispermen?
Not yet.
Oh, they terrify me. But also, I was just thinking then, Richard E. Grant's character in the Christmas special, was it Dr. Simeon? Yeah, he plays it so well, that sort of villainous character. And yeah, I got to act with him, so I'd say him.
Absolutely, absolutely. He's another lost doctor as well. So very nice. Colin, how about you?
Well, the question is favorite villain, which implies it's a villain you like. Favorite villain. I mean, for instance, the Angels. I've always been very rude about the Angels because I've always said that a sensible doctor, i.e., not the one that they met, would simply do that.
Yeah.
With eyes, and the Angels wouldn't get them. And Big Finish have done recently a story, I don't know if it's out yet, with me and the Angels. And the author obviously read my comments, and I was hoisted by my own petard because the Angels didn't fall for that. So I guess they are pretty scared. I think the one where you forget you've met them, what are they called? You meet them, you go away, and you can't remember having met them. What are they called? Somebody must know. There must be a Who fan out there.
Someone.
It's in the new program. It's in the new series.
Yeah, you have to mark yourself.
You have to put those marks on your face to remember that you met them in the past.
Oh,
who are they?
I'm drawing a blank.
Really scary.
Yes, forgetting.
That's the
yes,
that's fair.
And that's just my
shouting out now from home.
Another villain as well.
I'm drawing a blank, but I'm positive in our chat room it's going nuts with several people telling us what it is. We'll try to revisit that. Nicola, how about you?
I'm just going to say it's Nicola.
Nicola, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. And I think it's the ones that appear to be human. So I've always found the Master rather scary because he can appear to be one of us and then reveals himself, some evil devilish plot that he has hoisted upon us. And he lures you into that false sense of, oh, I'm reformed. He always comes back and claims he's reformed himself, like many folk we could name. But it's that thing where you're just going, this man is so, his designs are always so evil, and he never really wants to redeem himself at all. And the fact that he can disguise himself amongst us so easily, he is kind of one of my favorite villains. So I was really thrilled to start out with him, literally.
And Davros. I have to say Davros.
Davros. Yeah.
Because he occupies the same territory.
Yes.
I've got some audio stories with Davros where he's convinced an entire world that he's working for their benefit, and the Doctor has to go and help him because it sounds like he's doing something good, but of course he isn't.
No.
That's part of a true villain.
The mastermind.
Terry will be joining us tomorrow, actually. So
good.
We'll have Davros in the house. So, RS87, thank you so much. That was a great question. And what do we have next from Diana? If you could use the TARDIS and travel to any time period and meet a historical figure, who would it be and why?
Oh.
I'll popcorn this. If somebody comes up with an answer, they can start us off.
I'll start you off.
Alrighty.
There are several political leaders, and as I'm talking to America at the moment, I'll be careful what I say. I would travel in the TARDIS to a time just before certain political leaders' parents met each other and somehow distract them from doing so. There are quite a few I can think of.
I second that. Wow.
Yes, me too.
Yeah. I don't wish them any harm, but not having existed would be pretty good.
Yeah.
Fair.
We're all being very diplomatic here.
Very. I always get very practical because that's kind of my nature. When this question asks, I go, now what period do I want to visit? What kind of sanitation is there? Will I be cold? What would I have to wear?
Yeah, what's the box like? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good food.
Yeah.
What would get anything vegetarian. You know, there's all these thoughts running through my head, which I don't think you're meant to have when you actually answer this question.
No.
If I ignore all those logical things, practical things that I ask myself, I would love to go back and sit in Shakespeare's cottage and watch him working and talk to him about his villains and his heroines, and just to see him working and to watch one of the plays as it would have been performed then would be amazing, providing you can survive all those other practical things.
Yeah, I mean, the sanitation.
Yes. Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
Again, as a Floridian, I'm a big fan of air conditioning.
Where I'd like to go, I don't know who I'd like to actually. I have no idea at the moment. I'll think on.
I always say the Egyptian period just because I think it's fascinating, but I can't think who.
No.
That's fair. Absolutely
How
fair.
they built those pyramids and all the mummies. And...
My go-to in this question is always Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah. And then there's a tiny bit of interest, briefly, to go back to the time that Stonehenge was made.
Yeah,
just exactly what it was. I have this theory that there was a race of giants then, and they had these little stones they were playing with and made a pattern and wandered off and died.
Yeah, Stonehenge, actually, Stonehenge is fascinating, isn't it?
Yes.
It's absolutely fascinating. It's so old. I mean, really. And it's been there and will be there for...
How did they get there?
Yeah.
Watching it being built. Yeah.
It was giants.
Yeah.
That would be good. Diana, thank you. That was a great one. And this comes from Jake. Which doctor would you want to team up with in a multi-doctor story?
Does that mean 2 doctors teaming up?
You can pick as many doctors as you like.
Oh well.
Which doctor?
Obviously, was Cole. Obviously.
Wendy.
Obviously, Cole. And then we go to, for me, we go to maybe Chris Eccleston. Sylve. I love the quirkiness of Sylve. And then, the obvious ones, your David Tennants and your Matt Smith and, what's not to love. I'm getting old, give me a break.
I think David Tennant and Peter Capaldi would be good together in an episode.
I love Matt Smith, you see, but then
me too. He's my dog.
But I love Matt Smith.
I loved all. I've loved them all. There isn't one. This one's not for me. There's none that I've gone, that's not my doctor. They're all my doctor, but I have been spoilt by having Colin. It's very difficult, for any of them to come close. But I would be very happy to team up with any of the other doctors because they've all been fantastic. Been and are.
Well, I think all the doctors are wonderful, but because my doctor was particularly in love with himself, I think it would probably be more appropriate if it were Jodie that I was in love with, myself.
Oh, yes, that's fair enough.
A good one.
Yeah,
absolutely. And as a fan, I just want to see all the doctors all at once in a big gargantuan story, but that's just me. But Jake, thank you. It was a great one. And let's roll the next one from Nicholas. What was the funniest moment behind the scenes?
Oh. You've got a naughty look on your face already. He's going, well, I'll do funniest to me or funniest to everyone else? Because there were so many pranks played upon me.
Let's have funniest for you.
Funniest for me. Oh, funniest for me was when when we had, gosh, I don't know which episode it was, but basically myself and the special effects team, and they put an extra piece in our script that we'd read during rehearsals, which had mentioned about the Doctor being stripped down to a loincloth and put in a cell full of spiders. And Colin doesn't like spiders. Do you?
Really?
Colin doesn't like spiders. So everyone was like, no, this scene is real. Yeah, you're going to have to do that. And then when we got to the studio, while Colin was recording, we completely, myself and the special effects teams, redecorated his dressing room for him. So there was a big spider's web as he came in with a big spider to greet him, and lots of spiders all over his dressing table and all over everywhere. And Colin didn't even go in. He just opened the door and he went, right, remove all that. Take all that away. Take it away. So everything was taken away except for... And Colin, would you like to tell the end of this story?
Yes, I went into my dressing room and did exactly as she said. Bear in mind, before we started filming, John Nathan Turner said, is there anything you really don't like? And I'd said, well, I'm not keen on spiders. I don't want to do a spider story. And so having done all that she did, I didn't realise how much you were involved in it, actually.
No, I was an innocent. I
cleared the dressing room of all the spiders, and then I needed to go to the loo, and I lifted the lid, and they had cantilevered a bloody spider inside it.
Oh.
So as it lifted, this thing came out and headed for the part of my anatomy that was nearest to it, which is not where I wanted spiders to be anywhere near. There you are. That's what she did to me.
Why are these things so funny? I mean, the funniest thing for me was it happened every single recording, and it was always funny. The same thing every week. And that was when we were waiting in the TARDIS in our little box, waiting for action. Fraser and I used to debag Pat. So this was on rehearsal, obviously, not on recording. So every single rehearsal, dress rehearsal, we would pull his trousers down and push him out. We did it every single week, and it used to make us laugh so much, and we never got bored of it. It's ridiculous.
And then did you laugh when you were filming? Was it hard not to call?
Oh, yes. Very hard. Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous. But always funny. Always funny.
Great fun.
Yeah.
We got
simple things.
Spiders and pant pulling. Okay. Catrin, how about you? Any
Well,
worse stories?
I don't know. It wasn't. I can't think of anything really funny. I guess the one moment that sticks out is slapping Matt Smith, but I don't know whether that was funny. I found it quite funny, but in the Crimson Horror episode, he opens the TARDIS and not the is it a TARDIS? Oh God, where does he come out of? He's been locked up somewhere. Sorry, I can't remember where. And I open the door and he goes, Jenny, 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 Jenny. And I think on the day he kissed me on the lips. I don't know whether, that was in the script. Or maybe that wasn't in the script. I can't remember. But I decided to slap him after the kiss. And I think that was in the script, but it was a very, very hard slap. So actually on the time, I didn't find it funny. It was only after I could laugh because I felt so bad. But now when I watch it back, I have really funny memories of the spontaneity of that moment. That's,
Great. Nicholas, thank you. That was a fun one. What do we have next? From Nagio. What scene that you've done for Doctor Who was your favorite to shoot?
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's really hard.
Okay, I've got one.
Good. Somebody's got one. Who's the rest, you think?
It was the three of us, myself, Colin and Fraser, hiding we had to wait for a queue, and the camera was a long way away. We had this long walk down. We were in Seville, so the weather was lovely. We'd had a very nice lunch. We were waiting behind this bush for our queue to start walking down. And we were just chatting away. It was taking them ages to set it up, just sitting there. And then we started the walk down. And of course, all three of us had got our sunglasses on, forgotten to take them off. So we go all the way back up again and start that one again without sunglasses. But it was fun because we were just sitting there in the sun going, wow, aren't we lucky?
Nice. Who's got another?
I'm not sure about particular scenes, but there are moments when we were shooting a scene that I can remember. For instance, we filmed in Brighton. It was that bit when I was torturing you on the rocks. And there was a scene where we were walking along and I had to pick up a pebble and throw it into the sea. And we were just about to start filming and a man ran forward. I wonder what he was there for. He'd been sitting there all day in a deck chair, picked up a pebble from the very pebbly beach in Brighton, which was no sand, just pebbles, picked up a pebble 100 yards away from me. Here's your pebble, Mr. Baker. And he put it down on the pebbly beach. And they said cue, and I walked up and picked up a pebble. I could never have found that one. And he was only there because he was a prop man, and there was a prop mentioned in the script. If they hadn't mentioned the pebble, he wouldn't have been there. That was a favourite moment.
I honestly can't think of a favourite scene. I really don't know. I love doing the scene with Pat when, well, I loved all the scenes with Pat when I was able to tell him that he was not as bright as he thought he was and that I was much brighter and could sort things out. All those scenes were always my favourites. You know, humility not being Zoe's but so I loved was it my first story? I can't remember now. Or was it Mind Robber, where I was hanging on a wire in a suit, Fraser and I, in like an astronaut suit. I love doing those sorts of things. Always loved doing those sorts of things. Something a bit actiony, a bit painful, but a bit actiony. They were always good.
Fair. So Wireworks always fun.
Of course, the vomit-inducing truth is that every scene, when you're doing Doctor Who, every scene is my favourite scene.
That's the point. Yeah.
It's fun. And the people are so lovely.
Yeah.
Best job ever.
That's why it's hard to choose a favourite, isn't it? It's impossible. Mm.
The one that sticks out for me was just witnessing Peter Capaldi's first scene ever, him filming it as the Doctor.
Oh wow! Yeah.
We were watching it, just watching him play and become and explore, and then we got to act with him in a later scene. But yeah, it felt like quite a big moment to be on set watching him, try stuff out. He didn't exactly know what he was doing. He hadn't decided on one way to play it. It was very so playful, and I was like, oh wow, he's the Doctor. You saw him transform. That was good.
Nice. Very nice. Agio, thank you very much. Hey, and a reminder to our audience, if you'd like to chat with our panelists like I am now or purchase an autograph, please sign up at GalaxyCon.com. And I think we have time for a few more. So this one's from Jay. What is the funniest or most memorable interaction you've had with a fan?
Oh, that's a lot easier, isn't it?
I had a really interesting one where I had gone to visit my daughter in Hong Kong. She lives in Hong Kong, and her and her family. And it was my grandson's rugby practice on a Sunday morning. We took a boat across, because they live on an island called Lama. We took a boat across to Aberdeen, it's called, a little part of Hong Kong, main Hong Kong. And we picked him up from rugby. We were walking along this row of restaurants doing what you always do, which is, should we go here? Oh no, let's go and see what happens in the next one. And you walk along all of them, and then you end up back in the one you know, the very first one you saw. And we were walking along there, and all of a sudden somebody said, my grandson Max said to me, Mim, I think somebody's calling your name. And I said, don't be silly, Max. We're in Hong Kong. Don't be daft. And he said, no, seriously. And then I heard, Wendy. And I thought, and I turned around, and it was a fan called Tim, who we all know, was at a lot of conventions, who was actually doing exactly the same thing that we were doing, looking for somewhere to eat. And he had very kindly taken his parents over to Hong Kong because his father fought in the war and was in the Northern Territories and had always wanted to go back. And they were aging, and it was Tim's treat to take his parents over there. So I said, I can't believe it's just such a small world. That was extraordinary.
Absolutely. Wow. And kudos on him for doing that for his dad. Absolutely. So Tim, if you're out there, thank you. You're a right guy.
You're a good man.
Who's got another one? As Colin checks all his files.
I could hear a cat meowing, and I opened the door to see if it was mine.
Sorry, that was mine.
I could hear the cat.
Yeah, I've got a couple I could offer you. Hello, cat.
Hello.
Hello, cat.
What a lovely nose. Look at the nose. I've got two. I'll tell you. Well, there's one that happens quite a lot to anyone who's played a doctor or any of the other. They all want to tell you who their favourite was. Not all. There are some who are very keen on telling you lots about yourself that you may or may not know. And, there was one who said to me, he came up very excited to meet me. He said, I'm really excited to meet Mr. Baker. You are my sixth favourite doctor. I was demoted while he was talking to me. I thought, fourth, well, that's not bad. Oh no, then he remembered two others you like better. And the other one was, you get asked to sign some very odd things. My most odd was a woman who came up and said, do you sign breast implants? Pardon? Do you sign breast implants? I said, well, not while you're, have you, and she took it out of her bag, thank God, placed it on the table and said, that used to be my breast implant. I had to have it taken out. I've got another one now. Would you sign it for me?
Oh my God.
Wow.
I did.
Okay.
Her $10 is as good as anybody else's.
That does remind me of something.
That's the breast of both worlds. Okay.
Hey.
Zing. Yay. Thank you. I'll be here all weekend. All right.
There's no panto this year.
I was asked to sign something, but unfortunately it was still attached to the person. So they wanted to get a tattoo of my autograph on their arse, on their bottom. So they'd cut out the pocket of their jeans. It flapped and went up. So the difficulty was where to put the other hand.
Yes.
In order to steady yourself.
Yes.
To find said particularly hairy and quite difficult to do area.
It's like, all right, you're gonna move it there, move it there. So yeah, okay. But thank you, Mr. Eccleston, for helping us demonstrate this.
So yeah, that's quite memorable. I won't forget that.
I give him credit for doing the flap thing. That's
yeah. At least they didn't just drop everything down. They thought it through.
Wendy, I'm looking at you.
Commando, so to speak, and they just had the flap.
Yeah.
But you know, whew.
That's quite dedication, having your autograph tattooed on them.
Yeah.
That's a big fan.
It was a big space.
Oh! Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. Very good. Very good.
Mrs. Catrin, how about you?
Again, I can't think of funny moments at the moment, but I guess memorable ones are when you meet fans who your characters had quite a effect on, or has helped them with something. And I guess Jenny being gay in the series, I've had a lot of really lovely chats with especially young women who've recently come out or who are struggling with their sexuality or struggling with coming out, and how Jenny and Vastra's relationship has really helped them accept it and feel like it's fine and normal and nothing to be ashamed of. And because they love Doctor Who, they're able to sort of relate to it in a really special way. So I find those really moving, and not something I necessarily thought about whilst filming it, which maybe is, a bit naive, but it's very, lovely to hear that, and that it's helped people, I guess.